Hello investors and welcome back. Let's talk about Proterra. You're going to like this video a lot. I think we're going to unpackage some good news. I've got a lot to tell you and I want to make sure I answer those questions for those of you that are looking to cost average down. Maybe you've set that money aside. Maybe you've been waiting to look for a good play to put your money in. Is Proterra now getting at a level that we can consider because they're actually going to start turning these financials around? Has it come down low enough for this to be a good entry for a long-term position? I'm talking about we're looking to keep our money in here till 2023 when they open a new facility, they really ramp up their battery capacity, and will everything that we're doing in the supply chain start to slow down and recover, allowing them to start a second shift? I know they want to do that by the end of the year, but are these the prices that we want to get in because we believe EV is going to happen? Today we had a 1,000-point dip in the Dow, NASDAQ down 600 points, S&P 500 148, red across the board. I mean, the market completely went up after Jerome Powell yesterday said that he wasn't actively considering raising rates by 3/4 of a percentage point. So they took off and then they came back down. You can expect that anytime a macroeconomic indicator moves the entire market, every stock in one direction, you're probably going to see in this volatile market some profit taking. So we're seeing the market respond to that, and it might not be the last day that we see that market volatility. So be patient, look at your stocks at those key support levels, and be sure to only cost average in to a position, meaning don't use all of your allocated spend at one price point as the market's dropping and you're looking to buy on red days. We don't buy on green. We want to get in low so we can sell high. That's what you want to do. If you've never watched a Proterra video before, this could be good entry levels. We'll go through the charts. Now next week, CPI data. CPI data could possibly be a positive catalyst if we have reached the peak of inflation. So we're going to be looking for that. We had 8.6 or 8.5 that was reported here. If you look at the chart, if this starts to go to the right or it does not increase as much as expected, and we'll have to keep paying attention to what analysts are expecting, but did we reach that peak of oil, gasoline prices, inflation, and the highest impacts in 40 years? Because as this starts to come down a little bit, that could be a catalyst for the market. People are holding money and waiting to buy. Now, if you have never traded before and you're looking to open an account, you don't have a Webull account, you want to deposit any amount of money, and you want to start with nothing in your account, with 5 free stocks. Once these settle into your account, you could cash them in for cash, and they could be up to $300 for the first 2 stocks. That's just when you sign up. Now, when you deposit 1 penny, you can get 3 free stocks up to $3,000. Any sponsorships I do on this channel will help me go visit Proterra's facility. I want to let you know that, and I want to keep you updated. If you'd like to see me go visit Proterra, I've already reached out to them. They're willing to walk me through the facility, and I'd be excited to do that. So support the channel. You could do that through the Patreon. You could do it through signing up for Webull, and that's where the money will be going. So Proterra released their first quarter 2022 financial results. Yes, they did. Were they good? No, they weren't, in my opinion, but I think it's understandable. Now, they do have a supply agreement for transmissions for Proterra, and I do know from the call that they're talking about the supply challenges. I don't think that was a question for anybody, but they are working on dual source initiatives. They're working on building a safety stock. And I don't think that their numbers could have gotten much worse than they were today. I think they improved from this point. I think they took the hit from key leaders moving, but let's talk about the price. 605, 606, 607, 610. You can see these are the lows for the last few days. I think we are very, very close to the bottom. Now, as soon as I say that, of course, it'll go a little bit lower. But I will tell you, just looking at the charts, if we zoom out, got this in the 30-minute chart. I had this line in here at 615 previously. If you buy at 615 or below, and I created a new line at 608, if you're looking to be extremely conservative, then you are definitely going to be doing very well. I believe you're really mitigating your risk. Look at all of the touch points over the last few days for 615. And for the most part, when the price settles below the 20 on the moving average, and it starts to get outside of that and it gets up here at the 100, it starts to pull back. So watch that 100 for the pullback. If you want to enter into this position under the 20 where it's at now and sell when it gets over the 100, I think you can make money. I mean, you could use tradingview.com to manage that. Just put in your EMA indicator and watch this as it goes up and down, and you can trade this. So mitigate your risk, buy low. That's what we talk about in this channel. Buy between 615 or 608. You can set it and forget it. And then be sure to put your sell limit in once you plug in this 200 EMA, this 100 EMA. Now it hasn't went up here to the 200, but I think you can watch this with the 100 EMA, and we may have this type of action going to the right for some time. So those are my thoughts on the price action. Now let's get into the highlights. And there's 3 portions of this business, and it's the business's job to highlight all of the good stuff up front. That's why we're not seeing, wait, what are we missing here? Where's transit? I can't find it. Well, the reason we can't find transit is because it was god awful terrible. Look, we've got transit, we've got powered battery, and we've got the megawatt charging infrastructure that was delivered. Let's go back. Transit. Oh man, I'm struggling. I'm really looking for it. That's because they didn't highlight it, because they lost their president, and there's been some real issues with being highly efficient, idle time, rework, and overtime is out of control. I mean, that's what I got from the earnings call. I mean, we're just going to keep it really simple. I want you to pay attention to what these numbers are for next year. I mean, they should be pushing $1 billion. That's the expectation. Maybe I shouldn't round it up that high, but this is what analysts are expecting for next year. And I believe with their battery capacity, I mean, I think they duplicate this number. I am seeing strong trending growth these last 3 quarters with Proterra battery. I think they've got a good process in place, and it took them time to build this process and work through the cost of getting this done. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with charging infrastructure and how that's going to be built up, but I will say there is enough demand, and it looks like they're going to be able to supply on this side, and they're working on getting that facility set up, that new facility, which is going to be huge for this company, in Q4. So you want to start considering getting in now or next quarter. You don't want to wait until they're starting to do this. Now, of course, buy low, and accumulate. And I want to talk about that in just a moment. How do you cost average down, and does it make sense to do that at your price point? I'm going to give you a tool at the end of this video. Now, the next thing I'm looking at is inventory. Now, they're talking about how they want to carry, and they're building safety stock. And you can see that inventory. We don't want to see this number climb up, but it makes sense why it is so much higher is because of this chart right here. Look where all of your inventory is. This number is not supposed to go below 50. There's just no excuse why this number is below 50. And this is why I was so excited in my last Proterra video, and I apologize ahead of time. I mean, there's just no excuse here. There is some problems going on within the organization, and I think that Gareth is working with the team to get this straight. And they got a new president in place, and I hope they do what needs to be done within the organization to clean that number up. There's just no reason why that should be dropping below. There's just so much demand. So once they get that demand up, it's going to relieve some of this inventory. So hopefully it'll go back to this number or below. I mean, even with safety stock and everything else they have to do, be sure to go on and look at the rest of the filing report. That's about all I'm going to cover. The last thing I want to cover with you guys is if you've bought shares and you want to know if it makes sense to cost average down, say you got 10,000 shares and you can use this stock average calculator. Hopefully you got them for like $8, or you were able to cost average down. Let's be reasonable. Maybe some people have this for $9, and you want to buy another 5,000, and you see that you're going to set it and forget it price of 605. All you do is go down here and you calculate to see what that cost average would be. Now, is that a good cost average or not? 802. You would have to go to the analyst number to see if you're below those analyst expectations. But if you have a high cost average and you've got a lot of shares, you really have to put in a pretty large number in here to really move that share price. You can see almost $1 to be able to move that down. And I would say this is where you need to be, I would say, in the $8 range and below. It really needs to be your target share value. I would say if you're higher than $8, I mean, it's not a good cost average. Well, I think if you're starting off and you have a cost average of 605, you've mitigated your risk. It could go lower. There's no promise, but you are in low. And this business will do better next quarter, I believe. That's my prediction. Of course, it's a prediction. This isn't financial advice. That's all I got. I'm going to turn it back over to you guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave the video a big thumbs up, and let's go Proterra.